Blücher!
Do you remember the first time you laughed at the monster in Young Frankenstein? This classic film, released in 1974, not only had the world roaring with laughter, but also created legends on the silver screen. But behind the stage lights were pain and loss that few ever knew. Some quietly passed away due to illness. Some fell into crisis after the spotlight faded. And now, more than 50 years later, how have they changed? Who do you remember the most from this legendary cast? Gene Wilder. In 1974, at the age of 41, Gene Wilder took on the lead role, Dr. Frederick Frankenstein, in the film Young Frankenstein. The character, a grandson of the famed scientist Victor Frankenstein, tries to deny his family's legacy, but ultimately follows in his ancestors' footsteps by creating a monster of his own. The character is humorous, impulsive, yet sincere, and layered with emotional depth. Wilder portrayed him with a performance style that emphasized subtle expressions and restraint while still being incredibly funny, something that became his trademark. His on-screen chemistry with co-stars Peter Boyle as the monster and Teri Garr as Inga resulted in many iconic scenes. His real name was Jerome Silberman, born on June 11, 1933, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Coming from a family of Jewish immigrants, Wilder began studying acting at the age of 13. He once worked as a waiter and fencing instructor to pay for his theater training. Before Young Frankenstein, he was already known for his role as Willy Wonka in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971, and had been nominated for an Oscar for his debut original screenplay, The Producers, 1967. Together with director Mel Brooks, Wilder was a key figure in shaping the golden age of American comedy films in the 1970s. Following the tremendous success of Young Frankenstein, Gene Wilder continued starring in several comedies alongside Richard Pryor, including Silver Streak, 1976, and Stir Crazy, 1980, though none could surpass the legendary mark he left in 1974. His personal life went through many ups and downs. He married 3 times. His first wife was Mary Mercier, whom he married in 1960, but they divorced after 5 years. His second marriage to Mary Joan Schutz began in 1967. He adopted her daughter as his own, but they divorced in 1974. The same year Young Frankenstein was released. The most memorable marriage was to actress Gilda Radner, who passed away from cancer in 1989. Her death devastated Wilder, and for a long time afterward, he struggled emotionally. He later became an active advocate and fundraiser for cancer research. Gene Wilder never had biological children. In his later years, he lived a quiet life in Stamford, Connecticut. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2013, but kept it private from the public, not wanting to take away the smile from a child who sees me as Willy Wonka. He passed away on August 29, 2016, at the age of 83. Wilder was buried in a private ceremony with no public funeral. According to Celebrity Net Worth, his estate was estimated to be worth around $20 million at the time of his death. Peter Boyle.
What is your name? I didn't get that. Nope.
When he joined Young Frankenstein, Peter Boyle was 39 years old. He played the monster, a creature recreated by Dr. Frankenstein, but unlike the traditionally terrifying image, Boyle's character was naive, fragile, and comical. The "puttin' on the Ritz" scene between him and Gene Wilder is considered one of the most iconic comedic moments in cinematic history. Peter Boyle was born on October 18, 1935, in Norristown, Pennsylvania. His full name was Peter Lawrence Boyle, Jr. He was raised in a Catholic family. His father was a well-known television host in Philadelphia. Initially, he studied at a seminary to become a priest, but he left the religious path in 1956. After leaving the seminary, he took on various jobs to make a living. including working as a restaurant server and a teacher. Before Young Frankenstein, Boyle had already made a strong impression with the lead role in Joe, 1970, a political drama that gained him attention in Hollywood. However, he turned down the role of Santino in The Godfather because he feared being typecast in violent roles. His versatile talent in both drama and comedy was a key factor that enabled him to succeed in playing the monster, a character with virtually no dialogue. After Young Frankenstein, Peter Boyle went on to have a solid film career. He appeared in over 75 films, notably Taxi Driver, 1976, alongside Robert De Niro and While You Were Sleeping, 1995. However, the role that brought him worldwide popularity came from television. Frank Barone in the sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond, which aired from 1996 to 2005. In his personal life, Peter Boyle married Lorraine Alterman in 1977. His wife was a music journalist for Rolling Stone magazine, and they had 2 daughters. One of his closest friends was John Lennon, who served as the best man at Boyle's wedding, an obscure detail not widely known. Peter Boyle was diagnosed with multiple myeloma in the early 2000s and later experienced complications related to heart disease. Despite his declining health, he continued acting in films and television shows until his death. He passed away on December 12, 2006, in New York City at the age of 71. He was buried at Green River Cemetery in Connecticut. According to several sources, his net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $8 million. Marty Feldman. Marty Feldman played Igor, the hunchbacked servant with bulging, unusual eyes and an eccentric yet loyal personality. He was 39 years old when the film was released. The character Igor brought much of the film's humor to audiences, thanks to his bizarre facial expressions and a trademark way of flipping conversations on their head. The relationship between Igor and Dr. Frankenstein, Gene Wilder, was one of the most effective comedic dynamics in the film. His real name was Martin Allen Feldman, born on July 8, 1934 in London, England, to a poor working-class Jewish family. Due to complications from Graves's disease during his youth, Marty developed his characteristic bulging eyes, a feature that later became a physical trademark and helped him stand out on screen. Before gaining fame in the U.S., Marty Feldman was one of the top comedy writers in the U.K. He had written for shows like The Frost Report and at last the 1948 show, the very foundation from which the Monty Python group emerged. Beyond acting, he also directed and wrote scripts, showcasing his versatility in the industry. Young Frankenstein marked his first collaboration with Mel Brooks, who cast him in the role without an audition, simply after a conversation. Following his Hollywood breakthrough in Young Frankenstein, Feldman went on to appear in Silent Movie, 1976, and the last remake of Beau Geste, 1977, the latter being his directorial debut. However, his career in America didn't last long. While filming Yellowbeard in Mexico in 1982, he suffered a sudden heart attack and passed away on December 2, 1982, at the age of 48. Marty Feldman had no children and was married only once, to Loretta Sullivan, his wife from 1959 until his death. He was buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Los Angeles, alongside many of Hollywood's greatest names. His sudden passing left colleagues and fans mourning, especially because he died at the peak of his creative powers. Close friend Mel Brooks once said, "Marty was one of a kind. No one could ever replace him." According to estimates, Feldman's net worth at the time of his death was about $1.5 million, primarily from comedy show royalties and film salaries. Madeline Kahn.
You're in unforgettable.
In the classic comedy Young Frankenstein, 1974, Madeline Kahn played Elizabeth, the elegant, proud, yet unpredictable fiancée of Dr. Frankenstein. At the time of filming, she was only 32 years old, but already one of the era's standout comedic actresses. Though Elizabeth was not present throughout the film, every appearance she made brought laughter, thanks to her witty acting style, expressive facial gestures, and refined comedic timing. Elizabeth had a complicated romantic relationship with the main character, played by Gene Wilder, and became the center of many hilarious and awkward encounters, especially in her interactions with the monster. Her real name was Madeline Gale Wolfson, born in 1942 in Boston, Massachusetts. Raised by a single mother, Madeline displayed early talent in theater and music. Before rising to fame, she worked as a voice teacher and performed in off-Broadway productions to make a living. Her success in Young Frankenstein helped solidify her place in American cinema of the 1970s and led to a series of memorable roles in Mel Brooks's films. After her breakout performance in Young Frankenstein, Madeline Kahn continued to make a mark with roles in Clue, 1985, Paper Moon, 1973, which earned her an Oscar nomination, and Blazing Saddles, 1974. She won a Golden Globe and was nominated for 4 Tony Awards, thanks to her talents on both Broadway and the big screen. One interesting aspect of Madeline was her perfectionism. She often designed her costumes and paid close attention to the details of her scripts. Despite a shining career, Madeline's personal life faced its share of challenges. She married late in 1999 to her longtime partner John Hansberry, but they had no children. Sadly, just a few months after their wedding, Madeline passed away on December 3, 1999, at the age of 57, due to ovarian cancer. She was buried at Westchester Hills Cemetery in New York. Her net worth at the time of her death was estimated at around $1.5 million, a modest figure compared to the talent and artistic legacy she left behind. Cloris Leachman.
I am Frau Blücher.
Cloris Leachman played Frau Blücher, the strange and eerie housekeeper at Victor Frankenstein's castle. At the age of 48, Cloris portrayed a character with a cold, composed expression that haunted viewers with her shrill voice every time the name Blücher was mentioned, causing horses to neigh in panic, a classic comedic moment. She played a key role in guiding the main character, Frederick, Gene Wilder, into the mysterious past of his family, serving as a bridge between past and present. Frau Blücher's character, half insane and half devoted, made her one of the most unforgettable supporting roles in the film. Cloris Leachman, whose full name was Cloris Wallace Leachman, was born in 1926 in Iowa into a middle-class family of German descent. She was crowned Miss Chicago in 1946 and went on to become a finalist in the Miss America pageant. Before rising to fame, Cloris worked as a waitress and taught classes to afford her acting studies at the Actors Studio. In addition to Young Frankenstein, she was well known for her roles in The Mary Tyler Moore Show, earning a total of 8 Emmy Awards, a rare achievement. Behind the scenes, Cloris was known for her humor, her strict vegetarianism, and her deep love for animals. However, her personal life was less fortunate. She divorced director George England in 1979 and raised their 5 children on her own. In 2010, her son Brian passed away from a brain hemorrhage, plunging Cloris into depression. She passed away on January 27, 2021, in California at the age of 94, due to a stroke and complications from COVID-19. Her will revealed a net worth of approximately $10 million, closing the chapter on the life of a comedic icon full of strength and emotional depth. Teri Garr.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Oh, that's all right.
Teri Garr played Inga, the sweet, seductive, and somewhat naive blonde lab assistant who accompanied Dr. Frankenstein on his journey to resurrect the monster. At the time, Teri Garr was only 27 years old, yet she displayed refined charm and quick-witted improvisation. The role of Inga not only made audiences burst into laughter, but also helped establish the film as a monument of the parody genre. The interactions between Inga and characters like Frederick, played by Gene Wilder, created many iconic comedic scenes. Her full name is Teri Ann Garr, born in 1944 in Lakewood, Ohio, into a family of performers. Her father was a comedian and her mother a dancer. As a child, she studied dance and worked as a backup dancer in various shows. After the success of Young Frankenstein, Garr continued to receive critical acclaim with her role in Tootsie, 1982, earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. However, her personal life was marked by harsh turns. In 2002, Garr publicly revealed she had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, a disease that severely affects the nervous system and motor functions. Despite this, she remained in the public eye with an optimistic spirit and even published a memoir titled Speed Bumps, Flooring It Through Hollywood. Teri Garr never married but has one adopted daughter named Molly. She now lives a quiet life in California and has been retired since 2007 after suffering a mild brain aneurysm. Teri Garr's net worth is estimated at around $4 million. Kenneth Mars.
Ja.
Is the doctor at home, please?
Kenneth Mars took on the role of Inspector Hans Wilhelm Friedrich Kemp, the eccentric inspector with a mechanical arm and an absurd German accent. At the time, he was 39 years old. The character of Kemp was a satirical take on German horror film inspectors from the 1930s, and Kenneth Mars brought him to life with exaggerated acting, comically expressive facial gestures, and an impressive ability to manipulate his voice. His performance added a peculiar touch, providing a sharp contrast to Dr. Frederick, Gene Wilder, and elevating the film's overarching tone of satire. Kenneth didn't just generate laughter, he embodied an absurd level of seriousness, a hallmark of Mel Brooks's filmmaking style. Before Young Frankenstein, he had already made a mark playing Franz Liebkind, a fascist playwright obsessed with Hitler, in Brooks' The Producers, 1967, proving his unmatched ability to portray bizarre, outlandish characters. Kenneth Mars was born on April 4, 1935, in Chicago, Illinois. He studied theater at Northwestern University, an institution known for producing many of Hollywood's prominent actors. Although he came from a middle-class background, Mars worked as a waiter and cab driver before making it big. Beyond acting, he also found great success in voice acting, most notably as King Triton, Ariel's father, in The Little Mermaid, 1989. In real life, Kenneth was a private individual who had a passion for playing the piano and often composed musicals for his close circle of friends. He married Barbara Newborn in the early 1970s and remained with her for nearly 40 years until his death. A lasting, scandal-free relationship. The couple had 2 daughters, the eldest of whom, Susanna Mars, is a renowned musical theater singer in Portland, and often shared that her father was the person who instilled in her a deep artistic passion. Mars cared deeply about raising his children, always playing the role of a patient father who loved telling stories and performing little plays at home. After turning 60, he withdrew from show business to focus on family life, especially after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He passed away on February 12, 2011, at the age of 75. His remains were cremated in California. He left behind an estate worth approximately $1.5 million, most of which went to his wife and children. To them, he was not only a performer, but also a devoted and exemplary family man. Do you remember a moment from the film that made you laugh out loud? Which character was your favorite? Share your thoughts below. And if you're a lover of classic cinema, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next nostalgic journey.